forgot my mic. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel for another live show. Not me, just not me solo today. So I'm not gonna moan by myself. I'm gonna let other people's complain about what's happening, not me. With me today, from left to right, is Norbert, Giuseppe, and Malik. How are you guys doing today?
Hey guys, all good?
Yeah, really good.
Okay. Okay. Based on I'm gonna ask the I'm going up with open up with a very simple question, because it's like 21 days. I'm gonna use the start of the month as the start of the window, which is not really true, but it's been 21 days now that we've been linked with so many players. What do you make about the first links? And I'm gonna say incomings. Forget about the outgoings. We will talk about that potentially later on. But about the incomings, first 21 days. What is your first impression? You can go first, Norbert.
Yeah, I don't really like what I see, but also we can't just. So we need to sell first. So that's why these news are. I don't really believe any of that until Kulusevski is gone. Parisi, I would like to come for whatever 10, 12 million. And Rabiot is gone. There is no way Rabiot is gone, I think. And SMS would be awesome. Frattesi, I don't see anything in him. I'm sorry. We should not spend that much money on him. So let Milan buy him, to have him instead of Tonali, who's going to Newcastle. Strikers, Milik is back. Yay. So we're gonna play 3-5-2 again. Yay. Chiesa is gone with this, pretty sure.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I'm just waiting Giuntoli to arrive, and then let's see what's happening. Apparently it's 4 or 5 days and he's here, so
Okay, so
we'll see.
basically you're doing worse than me, which is good to know. What about you, Giuseppe? Because I haven't heard from you like on this for a while. So you go first 21 days. Depressed, impressed.
First 21 days, very depressing. Very depressing. Gotta say, it's. I think we're just late. We're always late bloomers in the market, and yeah, it's good that some players are going to be going out. Only one that really excites me coming in is SMS, if he comes in, and it's still an if, because we've been talking about him since 4 or 5 years. So I'm still doubtful there. Milik, I think for the price, Milik is great. I was looking at his goal return, and I mean he's basically on par, with strikers that Liverpool strikers, Firmino and players like that are costing 50 to 60, 70 million, and we're getting him for 7 or 8. So I think that's a positive, and we know what he can do. He's good enough for now, but all across the board, it's depressing. We have cash flow problems, and there's always drama. And I think it's not going to be until the end of the market where we see some moves, like always, and all the good ones are going to go. So I'm depressed. I will be honest. It's nothing exciting that I see. Quadrado leaving would be great. Kulusevski leaving, good, but we also took a $5 million haircut on that one. Should have been 35, I believe.
Yeah.
So I think other clubs are going to see that we're our slip is hanging, and they're going to take the piss. And we really need good reinforcements. Di Maria going, that's another one. I'm not really upset about that one at all. And Pogba is still a doubt. So we have a lot of work to do. It seems like you guys called this a long time ago. We're going to have several transfer markets until we can actually start to feel good about Juve again, because the squad is just a shadow of itself from from the old days.
I I, I agree. I think, like, especially the part when you say we're probably like we do our deals late. Um, like we're moving quote unquote fast or like early for targets. Even today for Frattesi, which I'll talk later on in the next question. But basically, we just talked with Sassuolo and we didn't ask for anything. It's just like nothing real because you're waiting for Rabiot and you're waiting for money, basically. Really quickly, before I go to Malik for the same question, according to Nico Shira, Miretti could leave, which opens up for a question I will ask later on. But first, you go, Malik. First 21 days. Impressed?
From the moment we missed out on Champions League and qualified for the Conference League, I knew this was going to be a very slow transfer window because, no Champions League means less money and a lesser ability to attract the top players. So it didn't really come as a surprise when we were barely linked with anyone for the first 3 weeks of June. But yeah, it was all mostly about departures and how we need to raise funds and all that. But it's only within the last week or so where we've been somewhat linked to players, and albeit from somewhat questionable sources like Albanese, like Pedula, saying Parisi is coming. My hopes are high for bringing in Milinkovic, but we'll see how that plays out. I'm still baffled by the fact they want to renew Rabiot instead of going for someone like Milinkovic. And yeah, Zaniolo, constant links. I saw Icardi getting linked.
Oh yeah.
I saw Romano came out and talked about Pau Torres, and I've never heard anything about that ever since. So, well, my expectation for this window was to just bring in the young players, the young players coming back from loan, relying on them like Cambiaso, like Rovella. So we'll see what happens. I think we'll get a clearer view if Giuntoli joins in the next few days. So we'll see.
Let's go to the midfield part because I said Miretti. Like I brought up the name of Miretti. He could leave on loan, which brings up the question. He could leave. Paredes is gone. Paredes is gone, excuse me. Zakaria will not stay. McKennie will not stay. Arthur will not stay. And Rabiot is one of the weirdest things I've seen or heard. Like, this is the weirdest bit of transfer news of the entire transfer window because I don't get it. Like, I absolutely don't get what's happening with the Rabiot thing. I don't get why we are waiting that long because we are offering him 1 year deal, very short term, when you can potentially think already long term now, because the plan is to think long term next season basically. And going into this transfer window, I was like, okay, like midfield is not sorted, but like one tweak I think is good enough. We can focus on having absolutely no attack at this moment in time, or like potentially, and fixing that the left back and the right back position. Especially left back and right back, because those are absolutely needed, like really needed. But now it seems like they're not trying to rebuild that midfield, but like change quite a bit, because you cannot trust Pogba to stay fit. Like, he can work as hard as he can, and he can be posting those clips and whatever. I don't blame him to do that. Like, and I just blame people reporting it every single day. He's working hard, like the news reports. He's working hard to come back. Yeah, of course he is. Like what else does he need to do? But by reporting it, it creates a certain negative buzz in the fan base. But you cannot trust Pogba to stay fit. And Rovella's coming back. I forgot about him. And Julian brought up a good point, and I don't want to misquote him, so I'm gonna read it out because he texted me yesterday, and he said, Savic has missed 28 games in his career through illness and injury. Rovella has missed 26 games in the last 2 years due to injury. And Savage's injury record also includes all European games. That's the wildest stat I've heard in a very while, and that scares me. That's what I've always said with Rafaela. I like him as a player, but if you just look at its track record injuries and our track record as a club, it's it terrifies me. Like, it absolutely terrifies me, for the simple fact that we will be short, player wise. If you send out everybody, if you're gonna send out Miretti as well, and we're gonna stick Locatelli in that DM position because Paredes is gone now, and Rovela's coming in to do that. But if he's gonna miss a third of the games during a season, probably what's gonna happen with Allegri. What he's gonna do. He's just gonna stick with Locatelli, and he's gonna use Rovella as a rotation player, which I don't like as well. So I'm actually confused. Now we're linked to Frattesi or not, because according to Di Marzio and Romeo, we just talked with Sassuolo asking them, is he available? Carnevale came out, and the moment he came out and read that quote, I'm like, step away. Like, step away, because they're going to pull our pants down. Like, he actually said, I want an auction. Inter are ahead, but Milan have money from Tonali now. Juve did what they did last season for Bremen. I'm like, just let it go. Like, let it go. Because this is going to cost us close to 40 million. I can see it already coming. And with 40 million, I'll get Savage. And I know, similar to Pogba in terms of what they bring, but I don't want to pay 40 million euro for Frattesi when we are struggling to get those 40 million euro together, basically. Like, if it's only 40 million we have, I don't want to spend that on Frattesi, who I do like, but like 40 million euros? Don't do that, because we pay close to 40 million for Locatelli. I like Locatelli, but I'm still not sold on Locatelli at this moment in time. The big question is now, I'll ask from Norbert first. What will you do? Because the options are, it's Rabiot keep one season, it's get Frattesi, or it's get Savage. Keep in mind, we're trying to move on, basically. Miretti, Rovela's coming back, but I just read out his track record. It doesn't scream Iron Man Rabiot. So what would you do if you were in charge and you had, let's say, 35 million for a midfield? What would you do?
All right, so why not both? I want to keep Rabiot, and if we sell everyone from the midfield, I mean Zakaria, Arthur, McKinney, then get both. Obviously, it will not happen. So let's just. I would choose SMS. I think, yeah, what you said. We're waiting for Rabiot. Like, why are we waiting for this man? Why? He signs a contract and he will be average again. I mean, it's a 1-year contract, maybe not, but so yeah, Miretti loan I like, because I don't think he would start. Rovella will not start. There is no way Rovella will start. He will not start. It will be Pogba, Locatelli as DM, hey, and Fagioli or something like that. Or let's hope we get SMS. Pogba injury prone, Rovella is injury prone, but Nonje, we have Nonje, Nonje can mess that up. Yeah, but if we have five midfield right now, it looks like we will have 5 midfielders, counting either Rabiot or someone else. 5 is enough. 5 is enough with some youngsters, I think. So Miretti, is a good idea to send him out loan for sure.
It depends, because the team linked with loan deals is Genoa, and he's a smart kid. Even he said, no, I'm not doing that. And you should not be going Genoa. Like, that's the last club you should be going, or that's the last club Juve should be thinking, sending him out on loan. Actually, really quickly, I saw an article. I'm gonna lie because I forgot the source. I'm gonna say the Telegraph, but I'm not sure anymore. Saying that De Zerbi was looking at him as well, on a loan move, which
Telegraph?
could be big for him, because the way they play, and like it's a Premier League. He needs to, bulk up a little bit. But again, that's the Telegraph. Same question for you, Giuseppe. You have 35 mil, the three options, knowing what's going to happen in midfield. What will you do?
All day long, SMS. I mean, if you're going to get him, now's going to be the chance. It looks like he's willing to come, even though we don't have Champions League, and he's by far better than any midfielder we have right now. He's healthy. He's been healthy. I think he could be the anchor of our entire team. So I'm all for him 100%. Get rid of McKinney, get rid of Cuadrado, and essentially, Rabiot could stay. I see any problems with Rabiot staying, and you have SMS. If Rabiot goes, I guess keep Zakaria. I think maybe one of the plays, if the board's thinking, if they are thinking, is not to decide on Rabiot, so we don't, handcuff ourselves to signing somebody and getting raped on a deal. But I think if they can lock in SMS, then it's really going to give us options on who we can put next to him. Obviously, Locatelli. Moretti could do a job. Not every single game, but he could do a job. And, if Zakaria leaves and McKinney leaves, obviously we take that money. Zakaria was cheap. So him going out on loan, he got injured. Still, he was cheap. Paredes is going to go, it's going to go back. Thank God. He was terrible. And is the other ones just, they don't excite me. Frattesi doesn't excite me. I'd rather stick with Ilian Jr., Felipe Kostic, those guys, and just put all my chips in the SMS basket. I think he's our only option for a world-class player under $50 million. And we have no Champions League. So who's going to want to come? Like Norbert said, who's going to want to come to us? That's a high caliber world-class player, especially because we have no money. So
I would pick Savage as well. But if we end up getting Frattesi, you know what it is? I think the price tag is the biggest issue with Frattesi for me. Not the player. I think he's fine. I think he is very. How do I need to call it? Like industrial? Like he's not fancy. It's not fancy. It will never look fancy. He will get his numbers, and he will go out there and give us all for 90 minutes. We'll be very busy. I just prefer a different type of player. That's just me. What about you, Malik? 35 mil.
I'm a big SMS fan. I've been on my knees for him to join Juve since 2017. I really, really want him to join. And the fact he's available for 30 million is just a no-brainer. So, and what bugs me, look, I don't mind Frattesi. I think he's a decent player. He'd help the midfield for sure. But I just don't want him for the fact Milinkovic-Savic is available for 30 million. For years, the reason we didn't get him, I remember we had an agreement with him in 2018, I think, 2019 as well. Every summer we've been linked to him, but we've always been priced out because Lotito always wanted 80 million, 100 million, which is very unrealistic for us. So now is the time to get Milinkovic, and I really hope they follow through with it. I think loaning out Miretti would be good for his development, but please God, not Genoa. Any club but Genoa. I think he'd do well at Sassuolo if they'd give him game time at Sassuolo or Atalanta, or a team where he could actually learn and play proper football instead of fighting for his life for relegation. Rabiot, I don't know, he's the big hole now. Adrien, Platini, Rabiot, him and his playing for contract schemes, so we'll see how that goes. I personally don't think he's gonna stay. It was mentioned earlier in the season, I remember, that he wouldn't stay if we didn't qualify for the Champions League. And it's, as you said, Ali, it's a one-year deal. There's not really much to think about it, so I don't get what's the hold-up. So I just say we let him go. and we go all the way for Milinkovic-Savic.
The Rabiot thing is it's strange because a couple of weeks ago, not even a couple of weeks ago, let's say 7 days ago, I said, no way, 1 year deal. Like, why would he do that? And today I sat back and I was like, if it wasn't no way, why is the club still waiting for an answer? Like, the answer should have already arrived. No, the moment that offer went in, you should have said, no, I'm not doing that 1 year deal. So I was thinking, like, maybe he has no offers, or maybe he has no offers that he was expecting to get. Maybe the only offer he has is a 2 year or 3 year deal, but for 5 million euros a season. I don't know, not 7, what he's on now. So the more time is passing on the Rabiot thing, according to early reports, it was until next week that the club was gonna wait. Di Marcio said and Romano said until this week. The more time is passing, the more I'm leaning towards he might actually stay. And that means you're not going to get Frattesi, you're not going to get Savic. But next season, are you going to keep Rabiot? Because then you need to give him a longer... Like, he's not going to sign 1 year deals until he's 38. So then you need to give him a longer deal at that money. And if not, you lost out on Savic or Frattesi. The flip side is you could be in the Champions League, you have money, and you get somebody better than Frattesi and Savic. And with better than Savic, I mean younger with a lot more potential. But that's a lot of ifs. Like, the only certainty is next season you're going to have Rabiot, not Frattesi, or not Savic. So it's a very, like, this very strange situation. Very strange situation. But it is what it is. Let's see how that will go. Like, Allegri is pushing for him to stay, and that's
So
that's all.
do you think
That's
do you
basically
think Savic is not coming if Rabiot is staying?
Oh yeah, he's not coming for sure. If Rabiot stays, it's that's it. That's it. We're gonna stay like this. Ravella comes back. Maybe Miretti will go on loan. I don't see us signing any midfielder if Rabiot stays. I think that money will go to.
Didn't Allegri like push for SMS at one point? Doesn't he rate him really high?
Yeah, but if we were in the Champions League, I would say yeah, both. We're gonna get both, but we're not. And I don't think we're gonna do that because at that point, you have Pogba on 8 million, Savic on 7, or let's say 6 to be nice. You have Rabiot on 7. You're not gonna play them all because you cannot play them all in the same midfield. I don't know how that even is gonna work. What about Locatelli? You bring Ravella back. You still have Fagioli. Miretti will probably go out on loan. I think it's too much. That's what I think. I think it's just too much. He is a big fan, but I think he's a bigger fan of Rabiot at this moment in time because he knows what he's gonna give him. Consistent, fit, being fit, getting goals here and there. But if you give me the option of getting Savic over Rabiot, I will do it any day of the week, like any day of the week, because last season was not great from Rabiot because he got the goals and he was better than previous seasons, but the previous 3 seasons or 2 were terrible. Like, I'm not gonna forget those. Like, those were absolutely terrible, so I would take Savic over Rabiot any day of the week, also because he can stay fit as well. So there's no drop off. There's absolutely no drop. They're 2 different players, but there's no drop off. The only issue I have, or like the only thing I'm thinking about, if you bring in Savic, you have Pogba, you have Locatelli, you have Fagioli, there's absolutely close to no speed in that midfield. I don't care if we have possession, but without possession, I think that could be a big issue. So, but again, we play without any sort of tactics, so who knows? Maybe it could work out. Let's move on to the next thing I want to talk about, and that's no news. The next thing I wanted to talk about is really quickly is Alex Sandro, because not do you want him to stay or leave, not that situation, but the situation that Allegri played him so his renewal kicked in, and now Allegri's like, yeah, get him out. What's that all about? Because I thought about it. I went back and forth with it, and I was like, yeah, he hated Calvo, and he was like, I'm gonna stick it to you. But then I was like, yeah, but he's actually sticking it to himself, because that's a big issue. So, what do you make of that situation, Norbert? Because the club is trying to move him on, but that could have, been prevented very simple, do not play him.
Can it be that Allegri had no idea how many games he can play, how many not, or
If that's the case,
Then he's incompetent. He's completely incompetent.
if that's the case, if that happened within the club,
it's not
then
his job.
I want to wake up tomorrow and I want to read the headlines that we're being sold, because like that cannot happen. So I'm gonna say no. You should have known.
Like who would do that? Like the sporting director, or
Yeah,
like-
and according to Nico Shira, like Calvo
He knew?
told him, like these are the limits. Do not play him, because we're trying to move him on. That's the news report out there.
So yeah, it doesn't make any sense. I don't think he. I think he wants him around, and I don't think I've seen anywhere that he doesn't want him. So I think just the club wants to get rid of him, and they didn't keep Allegri in a short leash. So now, yay, we have Sandro on what is it, 13 brutto or something, 6 netto. The amount he makes,
6.5. Yeah, 6.5.
it's insane. It's insane. Yeah, so I can't put logic behind this. I don't know.
What about you, Giuseppe? Any logical explanation for me? Us?
I really don't see any logic behind it. We know his performances have dwindled in quality year after year, and I mean, unless unless Allegri did it on purpose, which I hope wasn't the case, I really don't see why. We didn't have any squad issues where he had to play. We had other players, but he could have changed his lineup. I don't see why it was overlooked. I really don't. I think it was intentional, because if it was overlooked, then that means, the entire club has lost the plot. Someone could have easily said, I mean, if us, the fans, know that he's had X amount of games and he's got a couple more until his contract guarantees him, for his, signature for another year or whatever the case may be, then they have to know. Otherwise, we've completely lost the plot as a club, and they should. You're right; they should be sold. But I just think it's Allegri. I think it's his tactics. I think for some reason he likes Sandro. I'm not sure why.
But the
then
weird
again,
part is, the moment that kicked in, the moment that renewal kicked in, he got dropped quite a lot. Like the last couple of games, and let's say the last 15 games, he wasn't the undisputed starter. That's the weird part. Like that makes no sense. Like it makes no sense. Like I don't get it. I don't I have no idea what happened there. And that alone, because the report is that Calvo told him and he was like, I don't really care. That alone should be like a red alert saying we need to, cut ties here, because this is not gonna work. What do you think, Malik? Because that the reports are not just that. The reports were as well that Calvo was actually pissed with Allegri, like really pissed. And the last game, post Udinese, I think Allegri made that very clear that the relationship with Calvo there's no relationship, like none whatsoever.
I don't know. This situation just defines the mess of a club we've been for the last 3 or 4 years. Like, we have rivalries from within the club, within the management, which is, just at the end of the day, this whole Sandro thing is just going to cost the club money, because we're going to terminate his contract, pay him a severance fee, and lose money. Where, if that clause wasn't triggered, he'd be walking on a free. and the cost would be zero. I don't know. I feel like Allegri has always been a big fan of Sandro. He's a player he trusts. He's a player he's managed from 2015 rather to 2019, so 4 seasons plus the last 2. So I can understand the theory of him liking Sandro and therefore constantly playing him and potentially ignoring Calvo's requests. I don't know. It's all a mess, and that just defines the situation really.
But even if you like, I don't like. Even if you like a player, at one point, you should value your own coaching career over a player, right? It's like Bonucci, and even he is not playing Bonucci anymore, because he's not good enough, and he will cost you. Same for Alexandro, and the last couple of games he wasn't playing Alexandro, so I don't get what happened in that regard, and I don't know. I don't think we will ever know the full truth, but it's absolutely crazy. But let's move on from Alexandro, because as of now he's still our player, which is not good, but it is what it is. Next topic is Zaniolo, or like Galatasaray in general, because we've been linked with a deal that's probably not gonna happen, including like 8 players or 6 players. That's probably not gonna happen. So I pick out Zaniolo, solely Zaniolo, and I will link that with Vlahovic or Chiesa, or Vlahovic and Chiesa leaving. I've talked about it, I think like 10 times in the last last week about Zaniolo. I don't like Zaniolo. I don't get it. Like the last 2 years and a half, he has shown nothing that tells me he's gonna come in and have a very positive impact, like playing, and even like just who he is as a person in terms of mentality. I just don't see it. I don't get it, and I will never get it. Even if he signs a paper, I will not get it. If he signs, I hope he does well, because I want to win, and I hope he proves me wrong. But I don't get it. I've been told last week that he is a talent, and I'm like, is he 24 now? I think he is. No, 23, 24. It feels like he's 24. He's playing, with all due respect for Galatasaray, for a reason. He said yes to Bournemouth last season. He was willing to join Bournemouth. Like, let that sink in. I don't like that in a player. That he was early in his career, and he was like, yeah, I'm going to play for Bournemouth in front of 10,000 people every week. I don't get it, and I don't like that. That's just me personally. I don't like that. I prefer Chiesa being very mysterious about his career, valuing his career, and saying, let's see. Let's see what will happen. Because why would you? Because people need to keep in mind, like, they're persons, like us, If you are at a job that's kind of bad, and somebody else is coming for you, a new company with a lot of potential, they pay you the same or even a little bit more, you might be like, and the company you're within now, the boss is kind of crappy, it's all over the place, like changes every single week in management. You might go, what, I'm gonna go for something stable. I kind of like it here, but it's my own career. I want to have a steady income for the next 3 years, or like, instead of I'm not sure what's gonna happen tomorrow. So I don't blame that. But the Zaniolo thing, I don't get it. It feels like the Savic story. Every single summer, or the Pogba one, we're linked with him, and at one point it's just gonna happen. Do you think, Norbert, it's gonna happen now? And do you believe it should happen now?
So I hope Giuntoli arrives fast and figures out how to get rid of the slack, the players we need to get rid of. Zaniolo, I agree. I don't rate him at all. And Chiesa wants to leave because we want to play a 3-5-2 again. I mean, Allegri wants to play. We don't want to play it. Um, and he sees that there is nothing going on. There is no speed, no tactical play, no nothing. So what I say is, if Chiesa goes, then Zaniolo comes, and I will be really sad. I don't know. It's really sad. Like that we want to play 3-5-2, and we have
That's-
Ealing Junior, we have Chiesa. I don't understand. I really don't. So Zaniolo makes me sad, and if we sell Chiesa and buy Zaniolo, then I don't know. It's really sad.
What about you, Giuseppe? You would do it? Zaniolo in, Chiesa out?
Absolutely not. I mean, in Zaniolo's career, he has like 120 appearances and like 18 goals. He had one good season at Roma. One, that's it. And he's had injuries. He's had more severe injuries than he's had good seasons. And now look where he's playing. He's playing there for a reason. He's got 5 goals. I don't see him. I don't see why he's even desirable. I mean, I'll keep Chiesa all day long. He's a national team player that is, that's producing, and he's produced for us. He loves the club. I just don't see what Justin's fascination is, but it doesn't make any sense to me at all, especially with the injuries. We have terrible medical history anyway, so why entertain it? We have better youth players that have potential to outperform him. So I don't understand what the attraction is. So I'm 100% no on Zaniolo, and 100% do what you can to keep Chiesa, whatever you have to do. That's my opinion.
I agree.
If it's possible, it makes no sense to even entertain. We can't be that desperate for cash. We have to offload one of our best players to get an average player that has injury issues that can't produce. I mean, and we really have to make space for him in our lineup. He's not a striker. He's an attacker, but he's not, a true winger. He's not necessarily, a center attacking midfielder that's going to produce goals. So, I mean, I don't see what the attraction is for him, and I hope it's the news outlets just putting it out there just to link him, because there's nothing else to talk about, because there is not much going on. But I hope it's a no. I'm praying it's a no.
He's nothing but a headache. That's what he is.
That's right. That's right.
What about
And
you,
he'll
Malik?
just be our problem. That's all.
Yeah, actually, it would. What about you, Malik? Because you told me you love Zaniolo and you would do it. So explain me why.
No.
No, my stance changed. I think I told you this last year. I think he's a talented player and everything. I see potential in him, but come to think of it, his disciplinary record is awful. His output is absolutely awful for an attacker, which kind of gives Bernardeschi energy. And Chiesa, who just came back from an ACL injury, played half a season pretty much, had the same output as Zaniolo in his best season. So
Saw that.
and for the price that, and he's at Galatasaray at 23 for a reason, I guess. So I changed my stance. No, I'm not aboard the Zaniolo train, especially if it's losing Chiesa. If we
Doesn't he
get
have-
Zaniolo for cheap,
Doesn't he
but
have
keeping
red
our
card
players,
trouble as well?
okay, I might entertain. He does, yeah. He has a very bad discipline record.
Yeah. Oh.
He gets more yellows and reds than he does goals and assists
Oh yeah, that was funny.
in a
last
season.
You know what is? I'm just
yeah.
imagining him.
He gets like, well,
Yeah, he did last season. He actually had more cards and goal involvements, but I'm not even like, before I come to what he can do before I start thinking about what could he bring on the pitch, I'm like, the way he is, you know, his mentality and what happens on and off the pitch, whatever. And having Allegri as a coach, I'm like, this is gonna be a disaster, you know. Or Allegri needs to basically let everything slide, which doesn't scream Allegri unless you're in your 30s and you're, you know, buddy, then you can do that. But like, he called out Keane, like when he picked up that red card against Roma. Like, Zaniolo does that, you know. Zaniolo does these type of things. He does. Like, he scored a goal for
He gets
Galatasaray.
heated.
He scored a goal for Galatasaray. It was already like 4-1, and he took off his jersey and he got red, or something like that. Like, very ridiculous stuff. that he does.
News. Shira. Alex Sandro.
I saw the tweet.
Oh,
Saudi Arabia, come save us.
Yeah, I saw the tweet, but I will read
wait,
it out.
which club is it?
No, he said in the last 2 days, two Saudi Arabia clubs have asked info for Alexandro. No bids yet, but Juve are open to sell the Brazilian and are also ready to facilitate the termination of the contract, which expires in 24.
Not one,
Yeah.
two.
Two clubs, so it's
Yes.
your problem now, Malik. Make it work.
Figure it out.
If he comes to Al Ahli, I don't know what to say. This man is just following me everywhere.
Well, you need to take that to your prime minister. What was it? No, Minister of Sport was it, right?
I'll put in a word somehow.
We maybe should have should be going for him as sporting director, because he's doing ridiculous stuff. So maybe he can get all our players out.
I agree.
But I don't care. Don't ask money for Alexander. Just, you know, part ways and let him leave. Which, if he joins, I will be shocked, because he doesn't strike me like the type of person that will go do that type of experience. From what I've read and heard from him, he prefer to stay in this area and then go back home. So I would be actually surprised. I would. But again, if the money is good,
Fingers crossed.
I would do it, you know, because people are jumping on it now, and it's crazy what's happening. Like, we have been, like, Europe have been doing that as well, like England, but not to the extent of we're gonna give you 100 mil a season. Like, that was never the case, you know. But it's crazy what's happening. But at this moment in time, the only players they're getting are not players I personally I'm gonna wake up for and watch the games. Like, I'm not gonna wake up to watch N'Golo Kante struggle at 30, you know. Like, I'm not gonna do that, you know. Or Hugo Lloris, like, all those players linked. Ruben Neves. Excuse me?
I saw Kante in front of Anando's at London the other day. I saw Kante at London in front of Anando's the other day.
Yeah, like, at this moment in time, it's not really
Anyway,
a problem.
sorry.
No, I saw Alexandro walking with his kid while I wasn't buying fruit, by the way, while I was watching a game in Torino, which is off topic. But what's happening now is still not. It's not a big problem. I think people see a problem. I don't see a problem. I don't see a problem. They're buying players that clubs want to move on. No, I think that's what's happening. Maybe not Benzema, but other than that, clubs want to move. Ruben Neves, like, nobody was really in for Ruben Neves. It will become not an issue, but I think people will have an issue with it when they start signing Vinicius Jr. at 20, you know, and he will go to the Saudis to play. Then I think a lot of people will start having an issue, but
I don't think
you know,
that
it is
will
what
happen.
you know what it is, and this might be a wild shout, but very, very soon UEFA and FIFA will come to an agreement and work something out to change the Champions League. It's gonna change next season or the following season. It's gonna change. I think they're gonna change it again and evolve the entire world into it. I do believe
World
that.
League? Huh.
I actually really believe, because the FIFA is already pushing for it. UEFA saying no, and the clubs are saying, well, no, we're not gonna play 1,000 competitions, because that's just madness. You know, it's already madness now that they're playing Nation League games when the season is gonna start in 1 month again. It's already crazy, but at one point I do believe that's gonna happen, which I don't really mind. If I'm being completely honest, I don't really mind. But what's happening now is kind of weird, because we got punished 10 points for absolutely nothing. That came out today, shocker, for nothing. And the club made a plea deal. I still don't get it, because it came out that we have done absolutely nothing wrong. But we got points deducted, and then I'm seeing Chelsea offloading players to clubs with interest.
It's a fire
basically.
sale. It's an absolute fire sale.
And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. It's weird, because UEFA had a big problem with Red Bull. Remember? With the Red Bull thing. They didn't like Leipzig and Salzburg. They couldn't be in the Champions League. They needed to sell parts and all those things. And I'm like, I don't know, man. You're saying one thing, and on the other hand, you're doing another thing, It's not the same. You're not doing the same things for both parties, which is not surprising, because it's UEFA. But I think at one point it will explode, because teams like Real Madrid, Bayern, now they're all calm. But if it escalates, I think they will also be on the part of, let's start a Super League, or just let's riot here and let UEFA fight it out for their own now. It will, at one point it will explode. Maybe not in 5 years, maybe it's 10, 15 years, but it will be a big issue in the coming seasons. I do believe that, But as of now, I'm fine with it. I hope they take players from us, Arthur, McKennie, probably not, But I don't know.
I have a question. I mean, like, you're talking about Super League. What is the format? The format potentially was 3 to 10 teams playing games during the season, unaffiliated with Champions League. So what is like the summer tour? I mean, Real Madrid, Juve, Man United. I mean, Man City, every year. I mean, Chelsea, these clubs, they go out and they play their own little tournament, Asia or America, every season, every summer. And there's billions of dollars made on television rights. And it has zero to do with UEFA. So why is it all of a sudden, because it's called the Super League, it's different from another branch off tournament with all the big clubs? I mean, they're doing it anyway. I don't understand what the issue is. I really don't.
The issue is they want control and money.
But they're still allowing the summer league. You know what I mean? They're still allowing, like, I'm going to Orlando to watch Juve and Real Madrid. It's friendly, but there's still, friendly or not, there's still people viewing. There's viewership. There's millions of dollars being made on ticket sales, transportation, hotels, branding rights. Oh, I mean, it's still a business. It's still revenue. It's an unaffiliated trophy.
The power.
There's no trophy involved.
I know, but in the Super League, the power would have been for the clubs. They would divide the money. They would make all the decisions, which is not the case now. That's. But
they're doing that. They're doing that right now with the Summer Cup.
I agree.
You know what I mean? They're making their own schedule. Then they're going to say, we're going to play so and so, and Real Madrid's going to play Barcelona. Okay, well, they're selling $400 or $500 a ticket. That money's not going to UEFA. It's going to the clubs. So the clubs are saying, why don't we do this and just do it during the season instead of doing it during the summer? So that's where I think the premise is. Ultimately, I agree with what you're saying. It's a control issue, but they're allowing it to take place right now, in a matter of weeks. And it's happening. And the clubs are making revenue on top of it. And it's going into their bank. Whatever they're making on shirts, it's still going into their bank. And there's no trophy involved for UEFA. It's not even recognized. So why are we being penalized by Ceferin and FIFA because we want to do something similar to that during the season? It makes
because they want all the money. They want all the money.
Why aren't they penalizing and banning the summer league? Why are they allowing these games to happen?
It's that's a drop in the bucket, basically. That's nothing. That's
true, but it's still money. It's definitely
money. But I think if they are gonna try to control that, like the clubs are, they will say no. Like
television.
then they will all go mad.
Competing with the television rights and all that stuff, if there would be a Super League, that would be an issue for
There will be a
UEFA.
big change. There will be a big change in
Yeah.
the coming season. Like I think that's very clear how everything is shifting now. Not the
This
balance,
is the hard. This is the hard road, but I agree. There's going to be reform. There has to be, because
there will be, and I think my like something about including. When I say all the world, it's probably not going to be all the world, but you know what I probably mean. It's going to be Saudis, Qatar. Like they will get involved because they have the money, and they will push UEFA and FIFA to get involved. They
that's
will.
what's going. You're right. You're right.
They will.
And
when
money is going to talk.
To be honest, I'm not going to be over the top mad about it because I think everybody will benefit from the money. It will. But it's now it's a problem for Serie A. Like it will be like it's already a problem that you cannot like Newcastle is paying 80 mil for Tonali, which I cannot believe, but they are doing that. Insane, like absolutely insane. I saw Brentford pay 30 mil. I forgot the name for a striker that scored 0 goals in 18 games.
But because Napoli got 44 million for winning Serie A, and the relegated I'm not sure who in England got 120.
Yeah, but that's a Serie A issue on their own. Like they are fighting with each other. They it's never gonna change. Or like if something is gonna change, they want the Euros to build better stadiums. They think that's a step ahead. It's not a step ahead. When we get penalized and then today comes out, hey, nothing actually happened. In which country does that happen? It doesn't even happen over here in Belgium. Like it doesn't. Like this is happening in a top competition, and people might say that's not true, but broadcasters, all those people are watching at these things, and they're like, why do we need to pay so much money when you are doing these type of things? You don't have your own league under control. So the bids are going to be lower. The quality will come down. And that's why I keep saying, don't give money to Sassuolo and all those teams. They're taking the piss. Let them go abroad. Like, I don't, like, you go get players from abroad. But it's an issue. Like, it will be an issue for the other clubs soon as well. Maybe not the Premier League. Or something crazy needs to happen and they need to get, in the Serie A. Those type of owners, maybe not buy Newcastle or Man City or PSG, but buy us or Inter or Milan. That could be the shift in, not power, but like balance a little bit, balance it out. But considering they're spending money now, it looks like they're just gonna stay in their own country, and why wouldn't they? Because only one player is needed to be convinced, and when I talk about one player, I mean, and it's not gonna happen, by the way, but like Mbappe or Vinicius Junior, like if they can convince one of those players to make that step very early in his career, then things can change. I don't see that happening now, as of now, but you never know. I think that could be the complete catalyst to change, and those countries, knocking on the door of UEFA and FIFA and saying, work together and include us. Which, actually, I thought about it, and the Champions League has its own, how do you want to say that, feel, but a competition with facing Boca Juniors and those teams, it doesn't sound too bad, if I'm being completely honest. It doesn't sound too bad, but let's see how that will go. I think that will be actually fantastic.
The only downside really, Ale, sorry to interrupt, is it's travel, where the game's going to be played, where they're going to be hosted. We can barely manage our players in, when they're just going or traveling around Italy and staying healthy, when they're all over the world or they're going into different countries, coming back, being on flights, jet lagged, all the Serie A clubs are going to have challenges with that.
So Nations League is gone. once this happens. Nations League is gone, friendlies are gone, and when FIFA and UEFA talks they make an agreement, there will be no international friendly games, nothing. They will also pay up a lot more. They will put their money together and pay these teams for all this traveling and everything. So,
And they probably will like do something crazy about something like 2 weeks no league games.
yeah,
It's gonna be that competition only, something like that, you know. And then 3 weeks of leagues, and then again 2 weeks. They will find a way. If it's about money, they will find a way. If
Oh, for
you
sure.
like it or not, because I saw Frankie De Jong on TV calling out the Nations League, saying, "I have no idea what I'm doing here. Like, I have absolutely no idea what we're playing for. You know, it's
Friendly
been a long
games.
season, and here we are playing for what?" And he's right. Like, you're playing for what? I saw Spain celebrating. I'm like, what are you guys celebrating over here? Like, that's a friendly cup. You know, I don't like. It's crazy, but it will happen. And if there's money involved, a lot of money, players have no choice. You know, there's no players union. It's not like the NBA. They're like 100 players, like 1,000 players playing for UEFA. Like it's impossible. They will play if they get paid. They will play. You know. So, but let's see. That's gonna be very long. I'm gonna end with one more question for all three of you, because we'll probably do another live. Who wants to join? Probably next week. So I'm gonna give you a week from now.
homework.
Do you think we would have signed? And with sign, I mean, not holding up the shirt, but like it's a done deal. Do you think we would have signed one and sold one? And if so, who? So you go first, Norbert. In 1 week's time.
One. Oh yeah. I say Chiesa is going.
Wow.
Ooh.
Unfortunately, I don't want, obviously. And then, oh my. Yeah. So Di Marzio said that Juve didn't contact Zaniolo
Yeah.
or Galatasaray, but Zaniolo, so that makes me happy.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Problem is, I don't know who would come. I understand it, right? So first, I need to say someone that is like we can sell, and then someone to buy, a big name, right? Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't know. I need to think about this. But I feel Chiesa will leave, and we will not spend the money because we need the money.
Okay. That's fair. What about you, Giuseppe? You think something happening?
I think and I want, a perfect world. I think Vlahovic is going to go. I think he'll fetch a lot of money. And he had a rough year. He had a rough season. We just signed Milik. He's permanent. He's cheap. He's going to stay with us until what, 2026 or 2027. So we have a striker who's very similar to Vlahovic. And I think SMS will come in. He wants to come. At least that's what the press is saying. His brother's in Torino, and he's, I think he's good on personal terms. So that's my take. That's my hope, and that's my take. Vlahovic, what if it's Allegri's fault? If it's him not getting the ball from the club or the setup, whatever it is, Milik came in on $1 million loan and he put the ball in the net, and Vlahovic, didn't. And Vlahovic had a lot of opportunities for PKs and such. So I'm not super impressed. I'm disappointed. I would have liked him to be better, but I think he's going to go. There's definitely a lot of players. A lot of players that could come in, but I think he's gonna go. We'll get money for him. We need the money. He's on a big salary, and SMS is eager to come. That's my opinion.
Okay, that's well. That's actually those are big deals in 1 week's time. What about you, Malik? You think anything is happening?
So
Excuse me?
this is for the next week or just generally?
No, yeah, like
Is this
1
for the
week.
next week or just generally?
No, next week.
Oh, 1
so
week?
1 week's.
I doubt I
Okay.
doubt we'll see any movement within the next 7 days, but I think like if they say Rabiot's decision is gonna come within a few days, so I think Rabiot would be the departure, and I'm gonna be very boring and say Castagna is gonna be confirmed.
Okay. That's actually very boring indeed. I don't think anything is happening. I think I think
That's realistic.
I
For
think
a
things
week,
will.
that's very realistic.
It's realistic. It's realistic. But I think things will start really moving closer to July. That's why I think things will start moving, because the way they're moving now, it feels like they're having talks with everybody, and then they will sit down and see and basically go over what they can do. Who they want to bring in, who they want to move it out, and how they will manage to do that, considering we have very little cash to spend. So I think closer to July things are gonna happen. Even with the news about Di Marcio, like about Zaniolo from Di Marcio, it feels like it's like a study round. They're just looking into everything, but not really, considering to making moves. Now, even like the Frattesi thing today, seeing if deal has been closed with Inter or not. It feels like it's all very calm, and let's see what will happen. Which I'm okay with it, considering the names we're being linked with. Like, no need to be hasty. Just take your time, think about signing Castagna or Zaniolo. Just really think about that before you make any decisions. But yeah, let's see. Week's time, a lot of things can change or nothing. But we will go again next week. I will go again tomorrow. No, not tomorrow. I'm out Friday. I will be back Friday. So maybe I have something excited to talk about on Friday. I'm actually doing news shows now. I'm including Malcolm. Not that I want Malcolm, but it's something different than talking about Frattesi, Parisi, and Zaniolo talks, but like no offers or whatever, nothing. Like, I open the news papers every single morning, and I don't even tweet out anymore, because I'm like, I did that yesterday and the day before. It's the same report. Like, it's just same report, just shaped up a little bit different. Like, nothing changed. So it's very difficult at this moment in time. Very boring, but it is what it is. Let's see. Thank you, Norbert, Giuseppe, and Malik, for joining.
Thanks,
I promised I would have done this earlier, but I had issues with the streaming thing. It's fixed now, so we're gonna do it next week. Who wants to join? If you want to join, you can join. Just join the members club and send me a message, and I will get you on. I'm gonna wrap this one up. Thanks everybody for watching. Like the video if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel, and I will be back live Friday evening. Ciao.